Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Amabel Goes to 4X School, where we are.
Hi, I'm Amabel. I'm here too.
Woof! Listen, my brains are all over the place today. That's embarrassing. Anyway, apologies. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I didn't know how I was going to sing it this time, so it's good that you kind of just nipped that in the bud.
Well, I mean, that's what all the viewers have been asking me to do. So, we are in a complicated situation today. One of the major players has been removed. All of a sudden, all of the oceans are up for grabs. Really pretty unfortunate given the way that, like, the major land masses of the map sort of cradle our empire away from all of the meaningful
Yeah.
water. So really, this is just purple and pink competing for these. I guess green has some ships probably. But yeah, that stuff feels like it's going to be a big power boost for either pink or purple. And pink certainly does not need the help. If we take a look here real quick before we hop into things. Come on, scroll bar. Play along. Here we go. Okay, so green and pink both have one victory technology completed. They are outputting very similar amounts of research right now, although we can see pink is spiking up from a lower value and green was just at a higher value. A little hard to interpret exactly what that means. There may have been, they're also at war. So there's some amount of like territorial exchange going on potentially. People are dying all over the place. We're very focused on just like our little slice of the world. Nobody's particularly close to any of the other victory types just yet, but pink is looking powerful. They're looking large and powerful. It does look like green's a couple techs ahead of pink, so pink's victory techs are a little cheaper. I wonder if blue was also working on a victory tech there, because there was a very long sort of still bit of research right before they died. In any case. So all that's happening, and that's very exciting. We're focused on our little empire down here. Red is holding out for the moment. They've just lost Karandar for the 5th, 6th time, something like that. But they also have a large army coming in, and it doesn't look like purple has many troops left. I expect this to flip right back, honestly. The loss of blue has suddenly freed up an Urkin, who can be convinced to join us for a mere 30 Quicksilver. We actually already have 20 Quicksilver. And there is Quicksilver on the market, although we don't quite have the money to buy 10 of it right this second.
How much are we short?
Our guy who was over here has sailed off to search ruins. I wonder how quickly we could get him back up there. He's not very fast, but we got kind of lucky, and there's a lot of turbulence in the water on the way there. Yeah, we're gonna turn him around. We can make this happen, maybe. I'm gonna try at least. We're gonna try to secure ourselves an Urkin.
Okay.
Maybe create a situation here where it's a little bit less likely that somebody can just wipe us out at a moment's notice. Go, 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 dude. So we'll be able to buy that when we need to buy that. We're working on sacrificial amplifiers, and we just completed the construction of the army that is headed to Ishimlor to search these ruins. So, fairly high movement. I think this is about the best we're going to do. We can take the roads all the way up to here and get in the water. It's good to have a friendly transit system. All right, so it'll be a couple of turns before we can search that. Hopefully, whatever follows is pretty short, because I don't know what we're going to do if it isn't. What does this city want to build now? I mean, more burrows probably makes some sense. So let's see here. The way we've constructed things, it's a little awkward, actually. It's not easy for us to build in a place that's going to actually get us a lot of a lot of value. We don't really need to bump up the fortification value of the city, I don't think. I mean, dust filtration is that's just free money. But yeah, probably the next thing is continuing to build burrows. So I guess just pick a spot. Oh, well, we have a spot we could build an abbey on right down here. Look at this gorgeous science location. There you go. And that's a burrow that doesn't add any additional unhappiness. So, our situation is, in many ways, as precarious as it's ever been. You know what? Honestly, arguably, more. Ooh, I wonder actually if it would be faster. I'm going to put this fast horsey up on land over here, since we're all friendly with purple and everything. There's a road right there. It actually is probably faster to run this guy over to the Urkin than to complete the process of sailing and then crossing Denin, the entire width of Denin. And you are, I don't know, just searching ruins, really. I guess let's see if purple will let us run around their territory, looting stuff. We're all friends here, right?
Yeah.
We're not. Are purple and green... Okay, purple and green are cool with each other. This is sort of like the power block, I guess. Opposing the rise of the necrophages, the terrifying rise of the necrophages. So, Amabel, how do you feel about this game and how it's going?
Like this particular session, playthrough?
Yeah, this game.
Okay. Well, I mean, game could just mean the game Endless Legend or this game of Endless Legend. As far as
how do you feel about the concept of Endless Legend and how that is going?
Oh, yeah, no, it's rad. I'm enjoying Endless Legend. Something which is happening a little bit off camera is that I actually started playing a little bit of Endless Legend to get a feel for it. It is so complicated.
Yeah, it is a different thing, right? To play it than it is to watch somebody play it, for sure.
Yeah, it is so much harder for me to parse the information on my own. Like I'm watching you play right now, right? I'm watching the screen attentively, avidly, and there's so much I'm missing.
And at this point, with more information about it than you've ever had, because you were just playing it earlier today, even like it's very fresh.
And you're helping me through some of it. I mean, one thing about it is that it has I feel like there's a very steep learning curve as far as how to build a strategy for winning. Like, you need to have some familiarity with all of these texts and how they interact and all these various systems, and like it's an immense amount of material to onboard, perhaps equivalent to, if not greater than, something like a Dota.
Okay, that's interesting. I actually don't know which one I feel like is more demanding. It's a little hard to tell because I've been familiar with both of them for such a long time, right?
Yeah. Like, a lot of stuff for you is old hat. Like, we were talking about, when I first started playing, I had to have you come out and help me because I couldn't get anyone to move. And that's because you have to use the right mouse button to confirm a move, except for when you don't. And that's so...
Yeah, your level of unfamiliarity with the sort of the fundamentals was really, really quite something. So, what do we want to do with... We have this big pile of money. I guess we should make sure we go and buy the Quicksilver while there's Quicksilver.
Yeah.
And then... we have enough pixie blood to run a booster. I don't really think that's very exciting. This is 3 turns left. This is 6 turns left. We don't really need a blood crystal either. We have 15 gold. Stuff's pretty expensive, but it's also, you save a lot of money with gold, because it reduces the upkeep of all your buildings by half. And at this point, we have a lot of stuff causing upkeep. I guess that's a reasonable use for it. Just keep slightly dust positive boosters running all of the time.
Yeah.
We're in a much better place. We're in a much better place. Influence wise than we have been previously. I'm gonna see what these lice do before I move this army. My hope is that they will just get out of the way, because right now they're projecting a zone of control across the tiles in this like very narrow area, and I would like it if that was not true. It kind of seems like they have no intent on moving though. They're gonna stop us and add a whole turn to our movement here, and something is in the water. No, don't you take my Urkin. They're going to take the Urkin. They're going to take it through violence. Pink, how dare you? Okay, well, an eclipse has just started, so we are going to get on land here and try to pick up some of these eclipse temples. Someone has sent us an offer. No research agreement for you. Interestingly, Pink has not attacked Khazar yet. Oh, there it is. Yep, and there's Khazar. Damn it. One turn, and honestly, it might have been this turn if these lights hadn't stood right here and formed a block, specifically preventing us and only us from reaching Khazar.
You know what happened is that the lice made a deal with Pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
I'm sort of waiting for the punchline.
No, that's...
Was that it? That was it? I thought it was going to be the lice made a deal, and then like it turns out to be a pun. It's like grounds for a pun. The Stiletto of the Delvers, a massive two-handed axe. Part description, part joke. This famous axe became known as the Stiletto when Fest the Hamhand, a Delver hero, succeeded in piercing a Titan's armor with it. Well, that's cute. The stats on that are bananas. I don't think we have any characters who would use a two-handed axe, but that is a wild weapon. All right, let's see what happens. We're also going to search it again for the temple search, and then search it again for the normal ruins search. Okay. We received 35 die, and we have entered Verda's secret hideaway. I tremble at the thought of stepping into his lair and learning if the powers of dust can save us from the coming end of days. We also found 20 Hyperium in there. The air was musty, and though the flasks and instruments were caked in a layer of grime, the echoes of Verda's presence came to me. The way he stacked codices, the small relics he carried for luck, the faintest trace of his scent in the robes hanging in his armoire. Reza brought me his chronicle, carrying it in a devout fashion, opened to the last entry. The scrawl was his, spidery and precise. The date at the head of the parchment recorded a day a few scant days before his death. I read, I have found myself thrust upon a miracle, the ebb and flow of the dust inside my mortal body like the tide of a wondrous sea. When it comes in great waves of fire, cleansing me, before infusing me with the strangest powers. Sometimes the pain is so great a blackness takes me, but regardless of what wounds it inflicts upon me, I always come back. In 2 days I will possess more dust than I will ever need. I will transcend. I only hope Azima keeps his word. Azima? I know that name. A roving clansman. A warden from the Acantha clan, according to Reza. The clans. Our distant kin with whom we shared the beauty of the plains so many ages ago. Nothing more than filthy dust hoarders now, grown fat from their control of the markets. It seems obvious now. If anyone had discovered the hidden power of dust, it would be the clans. Had they suspected the forces Verda was about to unleash? Is that why he died? Well, I shall not wait long for an answer. Outside, the lookouts have spied a column of Dervish and Kasai approaching our position. We will smite this army with the fury of the righteous. Auriga will know and see the truth of dust. So Undand is about to be attacked. We must defeat the intruding armies.
It's weird that quest is called fratricide.
Yeah.
Because generally, a fratricide, I mean, yes, it is your character's brother who has been murdered, but usually a fratricide is when
Is the murder
yeah.
murder of a brother by brother, right? Not just the murder of a brother by anyone who happened to be sort of wandering past. Okay, so our city of Undand is about to come under attack. We just built some military units in some places, so we can transfer some folks over to here, but unfortunately, I should have grabbed the thing as I was right. What am I doing? Unfortunately, these units are not very good. We are building them mostly to have things to pump up the XP per turn of the heroes governing the cities. So I'm a little worried about their ability to hold off an actual enemy force. We could, of course, redesign them and just try to cover it with buyouts. Also, there's a quest procced by those ruins. We're going to ignore that. I don't care about that at all. So I guess I'm going to put Nathan back in build units mode, but this one's not going to get done in time. Yeah, okay. Well, at the very least, Undand has a hero, and we can give our hero some reasonable equipment. So, like, if we wanted to just go modern dust type gear, let's get you. So, what do you have access to? You're not allowed to use bows, that's for damn sure. We can do one-handed swords, two-handed swords, spears. So it's going to be Dervish and Kasai. Those are horseback units. So a titanium spear would be 41 attack, 38 damage, versus a dust spear of 24 attack, 28 damage. I mean, and this isn't that expensive, resource-wise. So yeah, Cavalry Slayer 4. Pretty decent bonus. And then let's get... No, not personal improvements. Where's the ones that improve everybody's stuff? Here we go. Army Health Boost 2. And there is that very fancy high health, high regen ring. But what about instead of that? We won't quite be able to run Army Damage Boost 3 and also the big long spear. Probably looking for, like... I guess I want him to have a lot of health. He's going to be one of our main damage sources in the actual fighting. Militia are naturally anti-cavalry. They're naturally spear-wielding infantry. So that's going to put us in a good spot as well.
Huh. That's across the border for this particular...
No, I believe that every faction has cavalry militia. Or spear militia, anti-cavalry.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm a little concerned about this. And our newly equipped units are a million miles away. Asala Arca is 3 turns from being able to be reassigned. And obviously it would be valuable to reassign her because she has gained some crazy combat stats from this rod. I mean, in theory, we can make it back in not too many moves. I would love to just, like, get in the water. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And these units down here can, at the very least, try to grab some ruins. What I might do with the horses is try to back up this way. Are there a lot of temple ruins still unsearched? No, but there's a lot of ruins that we can search for endless mechanism purposes. I want to bail out of here because these necrophages may well attack us. Okay, just run defenders down to Undond, and hopefully that'll be good enough. We don't know exactly what the armies are going to be like, and armies that spawn for armies that are spawned by quests are rarely like super badass. You saw a little bit of that in your own game earlier today.
Yes,
because they don't want the quest, especially if it's part of your main faction quest. They don't want it to only be accomplishable if you've been like focusing hard on military. All right, Sala Arca. We're gonna push for Firestarter as quickly as possible at this point in the game.
Okay.
There are all these little quest armies just getting in the way. All right, so time for the Empire plan. We have enough influence here to add a level to our science and industry. Just get +2 science in every one of our districts. And this is actually quite a considerable amount of science at this point. And then, it hardly costs us anything to pick up a reduction in the cost of military units. You know what? We'll even take the attack bonus. That's not too expensive. So let's get all that stuff done. And then I want to get in the water. I'd like to get in the water down here. All these like garbage armies projecting zones of control everywhere, really screwing things up for us. Okay. You are just searching random ruins. I did manage to run over here and grab the movement conflux before either Purple's armies got it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can use that to grab some still eclipsed ruins. Although they have a lot of units, they probably have managed to search a lot of that stuff already. Okay, you had your plan already. So here's some dredges attacking us. These are not the guys we were looking out for. I mean, whatever. We don't have to put up with that. Hey guys, could you not? What is wrong with my units? Attack. That's right. They're not actually moving. Okay, there we go. You could tell they weren't losing any movement points.
Okay.
That was weird. Okay, yeah, these 2 random dredges should be a pretty easy kill. So because they're sieging the city, because they're attacking the city, the units fighting in defense of the city get the city's fortification value as extra HP on top of their normal HP pool. That said, I'm not super eager to actually use these units for combat here if we don't have to, because the militia are infinite and also probably better statted. So we're going to move our militia up. Actually, the militia can actually make it into combat. And you two just hang out, I think. Yeah, just kind of hang out. Provide morale to your nearby friends. So these guys have the circular attack ability. So they'll hit everything that's adjacent to them when they swing. So our job is pretty much just to not let them get attacks off. We don't need to be too careful here, or not let them get attacks off in a position where that would actually matter. But obviously at this point, they're never going to get to choose a target again because of their very low initiative. So the battle is over. We have exerted total initiative control over this battle. Okay, those guys were not the guys we were told to look out for by the quest. While we have a second here, I am going to run us out and grab some of these ruins, because I should have done that when I was moving that unit down, and I just forgot. What a bunch of weirdos.
What a bunch of weirdos.
Okay, so finishing this will give us Tier 3 Adamantian and Palladian weapons. These will be truly impressive, like end of the world level armaments that we will not be able to afford to use almost at all. That was, in fact, one of the 3 quest armies.
Okay, well...
Interesting.
Especially as I know you said they wouldn't be very impressive, but, like, I would figure for, like, a later game quest, like, later in the quest line, they'd be a little bit tougher.
Well, like I said, they can't
But
make
they
them...
don't want to...
They don't want them to be things where if you haven't been militarily focused, they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
And like to lose an actual city to random invaders, like that would be so devastating.
Yeah.
What's Argbod Boast Valhalla equipped with? Let's maybe... I saw another army show up, and they're not supposed to be attacking this city, but let's just be on the safe side here. Because it's not that it's not that expensive to re-equip. Okay. Yeah, 400 dust. Yeah, here we have more incoming, and they're dredges again. I was told they were going to be dervishes and stuff. I guess they hired somebody else to do their dirty work, which is kind of the thing of the roving clans, so I guess it's fine. Somewhat in character. The grass silk has run out. That's a shame.
Where they dredge these guys up from?
Okay, very well.
I'm trying.
Luxury boosters are less effective. It costs 50% more luxuries to run a booster. And we can undo this effect as a group, all of us players, by activating 10 luxury boosters from the second tier of luxuries in order to cancel that effect. Whoever puts in the most will get 150 red sang and 300 dust for every contribution made. That said, that's just like, it's a lot of resources. I mean, I'll go ahead and fire these dies, but these dies are not the right tier. All right, hold on. Before I make any other movements, we have lost all of our pillars. This was the pillar expiration turn, so we're going to figure that out. Fast Horsey has, in fact, been caught by some rampaging soldiers from the Necrophage army. They brought Khazar against me. That feels unnecessary.
Rude. That's just rubbing it in.
Yeah. Well, that's going to mean I am going this way then to quickly search these ruins. Running away from their massive army. Alright, so we found nothing, and then we found 120 dust, and then we found a quest. If we complete a city improvement that increases our influence, we're going to get some adamantian. Quite a lot of adamantian, actually. That's pretty rad, I guess. So I'm trying to keep things rolling here as best I can.
Yeah.
I want to run over and grab this ruin. Yeah, I guess we have time. Anything cool? 25 Quicksilver. It's kind of cool. That's enough Quicksilver for us to run a boost even with the extra cost, and I am going to contribute to a global event here. Okay, so State Approved Theater is live. We are pretty happy and on our way to the final era. You know, we're not doing a terrible job there.
Yeah.
We no longer need new weapons tech because our weapons tech is going to be taken care of by this quest. So what is the next most important thing? I mean, I don't really think there's any chance of us threatening a science victory given the huge lead that everybody else has. But I suppose more science is more good. Let's make sure we get back to the city quickly on this. And then we have this horse up here. We can just keep looking around for ruins to search. There's some. Found another quest to discover a total of 3 science-based technologies from any era. Glowing with supernatural vigor in the dark of the ruins, a group of haunts circulate around broken shards of a yellow crystalline object. You approach and they eye you curiously. "What are your theories on its nature?" an apparition asks. "Take your time. It has lain here for centuries." This is, if not the crystal, the power crystal from Dungeon of the Endless, then it is at least an endless device of the same kind. The fact that it has lain there for centuries means that it actually could be the one from Dungeon of the Endless.
Can you explain the significance of that to me, or is that...
Yeah, so like Dungeon of the Endless is a game that takes place in an underground facility. Basically, you are on a spaceship. It is a prison barge. It's transporting prisoners. And it gets attacked. It gets downed. And it crash lands on top of this massive underground facility. And because there is this massive underground facility there, instead of, millions of tons of rocks or whatever, it just punches right through the crust and ends up at the bottom of the facility, having, torn a big hole all the way through it. The goal of the game is to make it up to the surface. And to do so, you have to operate the old, abandoned, and now spaceship crashed through facility and its various machines and stuff. And you use this power crystal to run the elevator that takes you from floor to floor as you're getting back up.
Okay.
Okay, so pillar range 2, you will notice we got these good pillars now. I'm going to continue running science pillars. I think continuing to produce lots and lots of science is the thing for us. And we have a lot of money, so I'm going to put down quite a lot of pillars. We have built our cities in such a way that they are taking pretty decent advantage of these big fields that we are able to generate here. Okay, that's all we can afford. So we handled this, we ran away. I'm probably just gonna keep building burrows over here. I mean, at some point it makes sense to construct the alchemy lab, but the fact is I want to save the titanium for building more important buildings in the bigger cities. So
yeah,
I guess we can start filling the garrison here as well. We're getting to the point where we do not have a lot of tremendously important stuff to build. a lot of our cities are sort of caught up with like the forward edge of what they could be doing. All right. Notice Undand did lose some fortifications. The remaining fortification on the city was affected by the amount that was lost in the combat.
Okay.
But cities repair themselves pretty quickly, given, left to their own devices. That is to say, if they don't get attacked any further. Quickly, go join up. Argbad Bos Valhalla has leveled up. Let's get some more Firestarter in here. Fantastic.
Do you have a favorite Firestarter movie?
No, like everyone else, no.
Like, it's a whole genre of film from the 80s and 90s. Like, there's a whole...
I know what it is.
Okay.
All right, next, via the Empire plan, raise your science ministry by 1 more level than previously. When we saw this quest in the previous game, it just went off without us having to do anything. I'm hoping that we're going to have the same effect here. I'm still not giving you a research agreement. Unfortunately, there's nothing to be done about that. We're never, ever, ever going to allow that research agreement, but there's no way for me to communicate that to the AI, so we're just going to have to let them ask us every couple turns for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
It's a little bit less annoying here than it is in some games because of the very low impact of, like, you could just right-click the notification and ignore it. In some games, it loads up like a whole screen and stuff. It becomes a whole situation.
I remember in Civ when people kept trying to get us to do
Yeah,
things.
it is more annoying in Civ. That's a good example.
Why are you building in mountains nowhere near my mountains? I'm gonna get mad about it.
Okay, so, not you. We need to... I guess there's a little bit more searching to do over here. A lot of these units don't have anything terribly important to do either, unfortunately. So you guys just need to get on land. Yeah, the most important thing is making landfall. Once we're on land, this army travels a lot faster. We can unassign her at this point. Enough time has passed. These units will return. Well, they'll get back when they can get back. But let's swap her over to here to have her dealing with the incoming threats. That'll increase our ability to get aggressive with them instead of having to wait for them to come to us. A bunch of Titan bones is kind of fun, but we don't actually have... So it doesn't boost just industry applied to buildings. It is industry in general, so I guess we'll fire it. It'll get us our full garrisons a little bit more quickly. And then what am I going to do with you? It's not safe to be in pink territory. I guess the answer is we need to run, like, you get in the water, get back over to our own territory, and start running around through Green's land. All right. Continue searching ruins, continue finding stuff and hoping. We're not seeing a whole lot of... Was Galarath green before?
Maybe. Purple is very big.
Is pink winning this war?
Is that pink?
Well, it's pink now. So this is purple up here. You see the...
Okay.
I will note green is taking the oceans quite effectively, it looks like. But I'm a little worried. Well, I mean, even if pink is defeating green in the war, it will probably take a while for that to sort of filter back to us. It is worth noting, though, that if green wins the game, we do win the game, as things stand right now. Ooh, yeah, I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
Pink has jumped up to 14k science output. Somebody's going to have to do something. And it literally can't be us. Somebody else is going to have to do something. There is one thing we can do. Might be a little bit late. But we have the dust income to give it a shot at least. Okay, another victory notification has just been generated. That's a little worrying. All right, let's fight these nerds. Okay, the Forgotten have generated the first level of the economic victory notifications. We can probably auto this at this point. Our advantage is such. All right, and then we just have to wait for the third army to spawn and come at us. And in the meantime, we can go grab this, I think. So, we got access to a new science building. What we do not have, necessarily, are the resources to actually build any of them. We have a one-off living lab doubling the science output of one city. Costs an awful lot of titanium. There's not enough on the market, even. Again, not much. Like, there's not really anything we can do. It just sucks. We don't currently have Red Sang running. There's a ton on the market, but I guess what we want to be doing is trying to buy and operate boosters in that second tier, that group that's gonna score right now. So this is enough grass silk. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we ran out of money. The price got driven up too much during the purchase. But we'll run a grass silk booster that'll help cancel the event. And then we'll have all the red sang we'll ever need. And now that we have all the extra science, we're doing just fine on approval. We really don't need approval boosters. Our economy's not in a great spot, but also we sure do have a lot of... we sure don't have a lot of mithrite. What we might want to do here is pursue a little bit of extra competence for our military. Right now, our military, our army's still maxed out at 4 units. So some improvements to that functionality might not go awry.
So let me ask you a question, because I'm not sure if this came up anytime in the previous, 20 plus hours of us playing Endless Legend here. What happens when the approval rating goes down? We've never letting it get low.
Yeah, I try not to. It's bad.
Yeah, but
so if your approval level falls below certain thresholds, you start to take penalties, obviously, instead of getting bonuses. And penalties are bad. And it's the same, it's the same as the bonuses, except in the other direction. So when a city's happiness is low, you are losing food and industry. When your overall empire happiness is low, you're losing dust and science.
If it drops to like 0, does the city rebel or spin off, or it just continues just to be bad?
Cities might. I don't know. This is an academic concern. This doesn't happen.
Okay.
Realistically, in order for your approval level to be that low, you'd have to be doing something so wrong. I can't even really,
I'm gonna create a game state that is so wrong. Well, thank you for giving the information that you could, though. This is something that
Yeah, I don't.
is helpful to
There are,
me.
there are a million 4X games that do this all in a slightly different way. I think you
Yeah.
get rebellions, but I don't know that I've ever seen it from in my own cities or in an AI cities. It's not that hard to manage. It can be difficult to
Yeah.
keep it. It can be challenging to keep it high, but it's very difficult to let it get that low.
Whereas remember in that Civ game we had that the
In Civ, it
uh,
can totally happen. Yeah,
yeah, but it has a lot to do with like
that well,
pressure
yeah,
coming
that
from.
system is tuned in a very different way.
I'm learning.
All
I'm
right, come
putting pieces
on,
together.
come on, third intruding army, please spawn quickly so that we can get this over with. We have no idea where it will spawn. We just kind of have to wait. Oh, this might be them now. Nope, that's some bathyspheres. That's something else. The necrophages have just risen to 17 regions. They only need to own 29 to win the game via expansion victory. They're cutting into purple stuff. Okay. Again, somebody needs to stop them. And there is absolutely nothing I'm going to be able to do about it.
Is it likely the AI is not I mean, I know we don't know how the AI works, but is it likely to not prioritizing stopping them because they're just trying to rush to their own victory?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, like there is not, in theory, a huge amount of value for green in stopping pink from rolling purple if you don't believe that there are going to be long-term consequences to that because you don't believe there's going to be a long term, right?
Yeah.
If you think the game is going to end in the next 15 turns, it kind of doesn't matter who controls what cities economically at this point.
Yeah, and this is a problem with game states and again I know this isn't a historical game, but like in games that try to model uh, polities, empires, expansions, whatnot, the end game is where we stop caring about the downsides of actions as much.
Yeah,
You know,
this is just an element of it being a game, right?
yeah, it's a persistent problem in the. So a lot of my earlier work were text encounter battle based games, right?
Mhm.
And it's a particular challenge to make sure that someone doesn't just throw all their dudes at a problem to get the victory hex or whatnot,
Yeah,
because historically if you do that with your army you don't win the next battle.
right.
you know uh and also sometimes commanders actually care about the number of casualties and have responsibility for it, so like, but in a game sense where it's just modeling like getting that victory number, it's a persistent problem that requires a lot of like creative solutions to incentivize people to not just rush for a victory that would not you know be reasonable or attainable in a real situation.
Well, I mean, you're doomed to if you're trying to fight that. Yeah, I think you're already doomed. It's a game. Trying to get it to not be like a game is fighting backwards uphill at the very least. So the situation with titanium, there is literally no titanium on the market. I really want to build
Mhm.
that 25 titanium building. The situation with titanium is such that our ally, our blood brother,
Mhm.
will not trade us 7 titanium for 78 Hyperium. So precious is his titanium. I mean, we'll get there. We'll pull it out of the ground eventually. But like, this is where you're gonna run into it. Like, Simulationism in games. I'm going to say a thing here, and I apologize in advance for how this is going to seem to kind of be an offense to your entire profession. But simulationism in games is inherently doomed, and the biggest thing dooming it is that it's just not a good idea.
Okay, yeah, we have maybe a difference of opinion there.
The thing about a game, the first thing about a game is that it is a game, and that will always be the first thing about it.
Well, the thing about a game though is a game can be and is a system and or a model.
Sure,
So
it is
like,
absolutely those things too. But the first thing about it will always be that it's a game, and that concern is always gonna. When I say the first thing, what I mean is that's gonna be the overriding concern.
and trying to square that circle is part of like the art of simulation design. That, like, when I say is a problem, and yeah, we're fighting uphill, but it can be handled with some elegance, some intelligence, some creativity, and you can find ways to do both things or to change the emphasis somewhat. Um, but I also like, I don't pull out my military or political simulation games and have you sit down and play them with me. We sit down and play, a Euro game because
Yeah,
that's where we overlap in our tastes.
I'm starting to get worried that those bathyspheres are the last army, which would be a problem. I guess if those bathyspheres are the last army, then we need to make boats. We do have boat designs. Hold on. Let me make a counter bathysphere. So
A shower sphere.
do you feel showers counter baths? Is that what's happening?
It's the opposite of a bath, yeah.
But I don't need the opposite. I need counter.
Yeah, no, I feel like a shower is a counter because like a bath takes a long time,
Uh-huh. Sure. Okay.
takes a lot of water.
Uh-huh.
Uh and so you having something that is quick and bracing. I feel like okay, if I was going to fight somebody, I
Okay.
wouldn't.
I like where
You
this
know,
is going.
I wouldn't. If I was going to fight somebody and I had showered beforehand and they had bathed, I feel like I could take them.
Okay. All right, I can understand that as a way of determining the vibe of victory, if not necessarily the facts of victory. So purple has taken Gogthal, red is re-sieging it. I feel so bad for red because like their whole game, the last like 50 turns of this game has just been purple taking one of these two cities and then them having to reclaim it over and over again. All right, so we are going to continue looting ruins and hoping for cool stuff. I built what I think should be a functional anti-bathysphere design there. We're just going to pump two of those out and then go hunting, and hopefully next turn we should be able to buy them both out. And then go after that group of subs, and hopefully that'll be the thing.
Yeah.
And then for the moment, we have ourselves a little military here. Asala Arca really wants to get back to governing, but I also want to have a powerful commander in the field in case we do suddenly get the other yellow army on land. This quest should not be spawning naval units, I'm pretty sure. So I'd be surprised if this actually was the third army, but just in case. Just in case something very weird has happened. Undond is coastal. It has a harbor. We can make boats. Let's just make some boats and double check. If pink is just rolling over purple as a way of pushing toward the expansion victory, I do think that that's that's really going to be pretty hard for anybody to stop. You know, especially if Purple. Purple himself cannot do so. All right, big food bonuses on the city continue to grow as though there will be a future. Continue to act like these things are the things that are important. And you know, we're not doing a horrible job of catching up on science. We're not doing the worst job.
Yeah. I mean, you seem a lot less stressed than you did a few episodes ago.
Part of me feeling less stressed is that I feel like there's less of a chance that we're in this.
Okay.
It's less stressful to not have anything to play for, I guess. Like,
oh yeah, no, I mean that's how I play most of the time.
and in fact, like I thought there was a good chance that we were going to be like in a climactic from our perspective, land war at a certain point in the game. I no longer think that's a likely outcome here. I don't think that's going to happen at all. That is not the way this game ends. So once again, just to keep an eye out. Okay, Galarath went purple. So purple's pushing back a little. Yeah, purple's pushing back a little. Hopefully that'll keep pink at bay. And maybe green will just take us to space with him. That would be fun. I want to go to space. I want to get off of this world, and I don't care how it happens. You know, we spend a lot of time like managing the day-to-day struggles of our empire and the little bits of story and the like what are we going to do right now. But like the critical thing to remember is that this is a world where every winter is colder and longer than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's an apocalypse type problem, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you really have a whole lot else to do at this point? Is that... Okay, this ruin is still somehow unsearched. I mean, if that quest army is not going to show up, I guess we'll just...
Has there been a post-apocalyptic 4X game?
Probably. Depends on what you mean by post-apocalyptic.
Give me, like, Mad Max vibes or, like... I Am Legend vibes.
So, yeah, specifically, yes. There's a game called Zephon that just came out that is a post-apocalypse. It's not a Mad Max type post-apocalypse, but it's more of a sort of body horror, machine war kind of thing. But yeah, that exists. That just recently came out. You know, there's also like there's a Warhammer 40k 4X called Gladius.
Such a weird name.
And so, you know, Warhammer, everything that happens in Warhammer 40k is past a couple of apocalypses. Okay, here's our quest army. They spawned in transport ships. All right,
I would expect Gladius to be the name of like a Roman 4X game, not.
No, it's the name of a it's the name of a Roman Colosseum themed like smaller scale tactics game from like the GameCube era as well.
Okay.
I had that game. It was good. That was a cool game. And a bit of a pleasant surprise because you often don't see very good tactics games on the consoles, you know?
I have a silly question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Was the GameCube shaped like a cube? Is that why it's called the GameCube?
Yes.
Were the cartridges shaped like cubes?
A cube with a handle on it. No, the GameCube was disc based. It had discs.
Huh.
But Nintendo has been staunchly anti CD for a very long time, and that never really changed. And so when they finally did do a disc based system, it uses a proprietary mini disc format.
Okay.
Not a thing you could just do like trivial burns on a normal CD burner.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna.
And they're back to cartridges now with the Switch.
Yeah. Because they really don't like CDs. Nintendo has this like desperate, burning fear that somebody somewhere will copy a video game, and so they go to great lengths to make that weirdly hard to do, and then people do it anyway because of course they do. My number one like sort of AAA. Well, my number one AAA wish has to do with like a bunch of companies going out of business permanently. But also pretty far up there would be Nintendo growing up and joining reality with the rest of us here.
Yeah.
Okay, war is a difficult time. Fuck. We need to, now we have to do a thing that takes 10 turns. Well, that's that then. For a period of 10 turns, keep the approval in Unbound at happy to receive the Altar of Transcendence, which we'll get, then we'll do it. Unbound is for sure going to be at least happy, but I don't think we have 10 turns to sit around, frankly.
You know, my hot take, and maybe this is something that is easy for me to say as, first of all, a poor queer and also as a small board game publisher. But I feel like a big company shouldn't care that much about piracy.
Yeah.
You make enough money. I'm sorry. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and like the real thing of it is, welcome to the Victory era, by the way. The real thing of it is like piracy is a service problem first and foremost. Trying to solve it by implementing more draconian copy protection and stuff is just putting your finger in the eye of your consumer for no reason.
Now, when you say it's a service problem, could you expand on that a little bit?
People like there will always be some piracy. For one thing, some people are just poor, and
Yep.
the question of whether or not it's okay to decide that poor people shouldn't have access to art and culture is a whole, listen, you know what side of this I'm on.
Yep.
That's kind of one of the reasons that I think it morally it behooves us not to try so hard with the piracy thing, because like let poor people have art. But the vast majority of people who pirate do it because it's the best way to get a hold of the thing. If you just cut the DRM bullshit, price things fairly, and make them easy to get and maintain, piracy falls to almost zero. And we have plenty of evidence of that from the video game industry. Like, sorry, I should say meaningful piracy. Like, where meaningful piracy meaning a copy of the game is pirated, and because of that, that person doesn't buy it when they otherwise would have. Like there will just as there will always be people who are pirating games because they're poor, there will always be people who are pirating games because they're like curious.
Yeah.
But a lot of these are people who were not going to buy your thing without checking it out in the first place. They will pirate it, they will play it a little bit, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't like this," and they will stop playing it. And there was never at any point a purchase available to you in that pattern of behavior. But try to explain that to a person who wears a suit for a living, What's up, Green? Fucking let's do it. At this point, with our faction quest being what it is, I believe our best shot at victory is Green winning a science victory and maintaining the alliance. That's a little grim, but it is what it is. we did get our mithrite. We got 3 embarked units down to that ruin. So we can build some buildings that require mithrite. Be a war against another empire within the next 10 turns to get a bunch of influence and even more mithrite. I don't know that I think that's a very good idea, frankly. You know what? Actually, if I don't think we're going to win a science, like if I think this is not real, why am I doing this? What is our most realistic victory chance?
I mean, is it just that alliance victory?
Well, I'm saying our most realistic victory chance. What if green gets, just devoured or something? I have a different plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Will you tell me what the plan is?
No. So when we finish our faction quest, we're going to be offered a couple of ways of moving forward. Basically, it's like you finish your faction quest, you kind of resolve the issues within your empire. Your people are as united behind a single voice as they're ever going to be. And then that doesn't solve the problem of you're on a dying planet. So then you realistically have a couple of ways you can go from there. I am going to just go ahead and pull the High Inquisitor back to this position. You can run a bunch of units around doing the victory, what is known as the victory quest, which is a 5-stage quest that unlocks when you finish your faction quest and ends with you gaining access to an old spaceship that is still on the planet in a hangar under the ground, and leaving on it. Or you can build the Temple of the Earth's Core and choose to simply attempt to weather the storm by moving your whole civilization down deeper into the planet, closer to the core where it's warmer. The Temple of the Earth's Core is a tremendous building project, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
So I am pivoting toward industry. I'm gonna grab all of the industry tax that we missed out on, and we're gonna try very, very hard to get very, very good at building.
Okay.
And maybe the plan is simply to find a way to survive. Okay, if we find a treasure in some sunken ruins, we will get the puissant armor technology, the strongest and most powerful armors. No, thank you. I do not want this technology. I do not want non-valuable technology. It's at this point in the game.
So just make your technologies more expensive to research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not a useful thing.
So I have a question for you. So you're trying, of course, to get your victory. Mm-hmm. If green wins that victory, that you also win. Do you feel that counts as a victory for you? I know it does literally in the case of the game, but do you feel?
Yeah, that's the thing. It like definitely doesn't, right? It's sort of like I was around and inoffensive while somebody else won. Yeah, I do not feel that counts as a victory. Which one of our cities is the most productive, really? I mean, it actually appears to be Ideli. Why is Ideli... Big bonus from hero capacity. Oh, because Strikes Far does have industry boost. That's true. And he's pretty high level. But, like, I'm a little surprised that Graldom isn't more effective. Yeah, that's providing 40 extra industry? Huh. Okay, well... It's also built out pretty wide. Like, it's not... And it's in a forest. That's interesting. Okay, what I might do here is put up the husbandry center in this city. Pull everybody to food production. short on glass steel. There is exactly enough glass steel for me to be able to build a plow factory. And we're just gonna build up the population of this city as high as we can get it.
Okay.
This is gonna be my last ditch production hub. Hooray, we did it! Use 3 embarked land units to take it back to the sunken ruins, and we've earned the Predator foils. Some pretty sick, specialized hydrofoils that make you especially good at killing other players' transport ships. A thing that is of actually 0 value at this point in the game. The odds that we would ever attack another person's boat ever again are, like, so low. Okay. There's, like, ocean ruins and stuff. All right. Well, I think that's the direction, then. We're just going to try to figure out a way to burrow down into the earth and let everybody else's problems be everybody else's problems. Is that still available to us as a technique? I don't know. I honestly don't. But I also don't think we have any other path forward. Not counting the green victory, which, you know, I guess it would technically be a win. Oh, I should definitely fire this red sang. And this grass silk. And out of curiosity... Okay, no, there's not enough dust orchid left to make a difference. Okay. So, I think that right there is what we're going to call it for today.
Okay.
We've got ourselves a weird position. I'm going to hit end turn. We're going to end it at the beginning of this coming turn here.
When we start the next turn, I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
About victories.
You mean next video? You want to ask the question?
Next episode. Yeah, at the end of the episode. Yeah.
Okay. I will endeavor to remember. Okay. Looks like Karandar's about to flip purple again. Purple just sieged all the fortifications off of it.
I mean, if you just went in and got Goldfall.
Hey, Purple, what if you fucking fought Pink for a while? You consider that? Yeah, it is at the point where, like, our units are probably sufficient to go and attack Gogthal, and we maybe could just seal this up. The Necrophages just hit the third victory tech. Okay.
That's grim.
It sure does seem like Pink is going to win the game, probably fairly soon. But we have our path. It is our only path. And so toward it we shall go. So that is going to be where we call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, there's going to be an awful lot of violence, it seems like. And also, Amabel's got a burning question that's going to blow this whole thing wide open. Come back to see what it is, and we'll see you then.